In a world of misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation, how do you know what information to believe? Well, that's a good question. My name's Eric. My adjectives are awesome and jacked, and this is above my pay grade. Let's get into it. You know, the point of propaganda is that you don't know it's propaganda. You know what I mean? You know, if somebody's selling you a narrative, if you know they're selling it to you and it's not true, then it wouldn't be very good propaganda now, would it? So, my point in this video, I see a lot of people, including myself, who don't question, who don't use the Socratic method. And the Socratic method, that was one of my favorite classes in college, was philosophy. And the Socratic method essentially says, if you haven't ruled out every other possibility, then you don't know you have the answer yet. And in our society, there's so many people on both sides of the fence who don't want to listen to any other argument. And by the way, I'm talking to you and me, right? Because when I say that, a lot of people picture somebody in their head, and it's not themselves. So, the point is, you need to question your own assumptions. You need to use the Socratic method. You need to assume that you could be wrong. A lot of people don't go into a discussion or their understanding of an argument with the assumption that they can be wrong. But this kind of builds on the First Amendment. This is why I think the First Amendment is so dang important. How are you supposed to know if something is true or correct if you can't listen to other people's argument? So I've always found a good rule of thumb is if one side is trying to silence the other, then that side that's being silenced is probably right over the target, as in they're correct, right? Because if somebody's trying to silence you, it means you have a good argument. Trying to shout you down, etc. But in a world with, you can browse the internet and read The World's Ending Tomorrow, and you can read in the same internet that we've never had a better economy. But as I learn, I realize that a lot of people have different motives. And there's a lot of propaganda out there with people with an agenda. But what people typically assume is that the other person's believing propaganda. Not me. Not me. I get all my sources from Fox News or wherever you get your source from, CNN. It's the other person. The point of propaganda is that you don't know it's propaganda. Think about it. So question your assumptions. Question where you get your information, and then use this thing. Use critical thinking skills. Don't just be a sponge and say, he said it. I don't think you should question every single thing ever in history, right? The sky is blue. Well, is it really blue? If you look at the color palette, What I'm saying is, if you assume a theory about economics, and a good example of this would be modern monetary theory, which is government spending allows for economic growth. And that theory could be true, could not be true. But you need to delve into that, because that's what our government follows today. Government spending enhances economic growth. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me if you tie dollars to productivity, but I'm happy to listen to you if that's what you think. But don't be so quick to judge other people's opinion, and in fact, question yours. I try to do that every day. I'm prideful just like everybody else. I think I'm right. That's the point of an argument. You don't go into it going, I am wrong, and I'm going to prove to you that I'm wrong. You go into it thinking, I am right, and I'm going to prove to you that I'm right. But you have to have a healthy level of self-doubt, right? The possibility that you could be wrong. So, anyways, I've just seen a ton of propaganda out there, and people are like, see this propaganda? I'm like, well, you also believe propaganda. So, question your own assumptions. A little bit of a rant today. Doesn't have a lot to do with economics, but if you don't question your own assumptions, you'll be in an echo chamber for the rest of your life. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Share this with friends and family. See you in the next video.